Hey, it's Marin, and in this video I'm going to be sharing what the upcoming Taurus New Moon means for us as a collective in general, and what it signifies for each individual sign. So stick around till the end of the video so you can hear how this new moon is going to be influencing your life specifically. This new moon is in Taurus on May 4th at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Time. And new moons are when the sun and the moon are in the same sign and they are conjunct right on top of one another. And for this new moon, the sun and moon will be at 14 degrees of Taurus. The moon is exalted in Taurus, said to have its significations come through the best as the moon in the sign of Taurus. And this is because the moon signifies often emotional tides, changes, daily fluctuations, and bodily rhythms. And Taurus is a fixed earth sign, meaning that it has the grounding of earth and it has the ability to stay firm in its significations of a fixed sign. So in something representing the changing, the ever-changing, the ever-fluid, the ever-adapting tides of the moon, like our emotional nature, like our body, having it in such a secure, grounded sign really helps out in bringing the best and the most stable significations of the moon. However, the exact degree of exaltation is at 3 degrees of Taurus, and with this happening at 14 degrees, it's not quite the utmost exaltation, but the moon is in a really great spot here. And I am really excited about this new moon because we've had a lot of crazy energy leading up to the beginning of the year. We had the year start out with a ton of eclipses with the nodal axis involved, meaning that there was a lot of karmic faded, kind of what felt like blows to us, not necessarily in a positive or negative sense, but there was a lot of heaviness to those early eclipses, and there was a lot of beauty in that heaviness. But now coming out of it for this new moon, it's much more grounded and a bit more lighthearted, which is nice. And new moons are times of new beginnings, and they're times of going more within. So we can expect this new moon for the sort of things to begin in the world around us to be more grounded and sensual, given this is in the sign of Taurus. This is, however, in a sign-based conjunction with the planet Uranus, which will be transiting Taurus for the next 7 years. And Uranus represents the unexpected, the liberating, the revolutionary energies of what we don't know yet. So with the sun and the moon in the same sign as Uranus, there will be some unexpected or revolutionary quality to whatever's beginning in the planting of seeds of this new moon. Something is different here than what's happened before, especially in our individual lives with this, and I'll get into that in the end of the video. But this is going to be based on evolving directly from the past because there are trines to Saturn, Pluto, and the South Node in Capricorn. So what we start is being helped out by authority figures we trust or by those who have some experience in this area. There's a quality of turning to the past and understanding what worked really well in order to completely change the new. And with earth signs involved, because trines connect the same signs, and with this being in earth signs, there's a grounded, steadfast, thorough quality to this project. Even though Uranus can tend to kind of electrify and speed things up, that is an aspect of it. Maybe this manifests very quickly, but there will be a long time of getting this going, and there is a thoroughness to this project. So likely we won't feel the need to rush or the feel to kind of make careless mistakes. There's some unexpectedness, but with these planets in Capricorn and with the South Node especially, this can be a kind of diffusing, diminishing energy. So we may actually need to get our energy levels up a bit in order to first get the ball rolling here. And this is a long-term project. Definitely it's beginning. This is a long-term movement or a long-term situation happening for us collectively. And we're being asked to think practically here. There is some inspirational energy that I'll get into in a minute, but overall, the sun and the moon are in Taurus, and they are trine planets in Capricorn, planets specifically that are serious and steadfast. The sun and moon in Taurus will also be sextile to Neptune in Pisces. And Neptune can signify dreamy, also disillusioned energy. It can be an air of oneness, an air of spiritual inspiration. It can also be kind of an air of escapism or numbing out. But in this case, because it's a sextile, which is a so-called easy or positive aspect, you know, that can get more nuanced, but sextiles are aspects that represent opportunity and a creativity of working between two signs that are not of the same element but are of the same general activity level. So earth and water signs can be classified as feminine or yin, more passive, whatever floats your boat with that, but they are in sextile to one another because they work very well in terms of opportunity and creativity with Earth and water. So Sun and Moon in Taurus, an earth sign, are sextile Neptune in Pisces, a water sign. So this, even though this is a long-term, thorough, practical project, it probably has some creative or artistic, opportunistic qualities to it. There's a fulfillment to go after a dream or follow an intuitive call here, even though this may be very practical and tangible, and maybe this is having to do with money. You know, Taurus often has to do with finances or just material possessions in general, what brings us value. Because this is sextile to Neptune and Pisces, maybe it's involving something like a spiritual dream or this calling towards your inner dharma to go after what it is you know you are called to do, but you have to lay that practical framework down. Like if I want to open a yoga studio, fingers crossed one day within the next few years, I need to understand the business. I can't just go in there with like Sanskrit and sutras and expect there to be a financial plan and a property situation there for me. You know, I need to understand the basics of how to ground in the world. And this is a really nice aspect of balancing out, because Taurus can get a bit too practical and Capricorn trining that can be really serious and really boring, dare I say. But with the sextile to Neptune and Pisces, this is exciting. This is, you know, the seeds. This is not the blooming yet, but this is exciting in a spiritually fulfilling way. And it's time to tune into what we're feeling and put up those healthy boundaries regarding the way that we're going about things, because Pisces and Neptune and Pisces can be a bit like whatever goes goes, and earth signs by themselves can be a bit too grounded and stingy and who and what they let in. So this is about tuning into really how we're feeling energetically about the boundaries and situations we're creating in our lives. And above all else, even if this isn't manifesting as, you know, really going after something specific in your life with this new moon, this is asking us to think about grounded, practical, thorough nature of how we work through things and how we can honor our intuitive selves with the boundaries that we both put up and knock down. Venus is in Aries, and Venus is the moon's dispositor because the sun and moon are in Taurus, which is a Venus-ruled sign. So the dispositor or ruler of this lunation is Venus in Aries. And Venus in Aries is in her detriment because she is home and rules the opposite sign of Libra. So on the converse, in the opposite sign of Aries, her significations for harmony and for union are coming through this lens of Mars, which wants to divide and to sever. And this means that Venus has a bit more trouble just finding kind of her flow in Aries. That way that we go about creating these boundaries or about beginning this project is going to need to honor ourselves and bring harmony in a unique way that is maybe a bit more divisive or a bit more daring in the way that we're doing it. You know, we can't expect rainbows and butterflies if we're dealing with a situation that requires a bit more realistic centeredness and really being clear about our boundaries. So Venus is ruling this, but the way that we're going about bringing harmony may need some friction at first. Venus is trining Jupiter, though, in its own sign of Sagittarius, so there is some benevolent oversight to whatever kind of difficult measures we are going to have to go after in order to begin. Mars is opposite Jupiter during this lunation too. So with Mars in Gemini opposite Jupiter in Sag, be careful not to make too dramatic or too like rebellious of a start that leads to unnecessary drama. Like, we may be very excited about getting this started or about beginning following a path or planting seeds that we really want to, but if we're just being dramatic for the sake of being dramatic or making a shocking appearance, that could lead to not really having the support we need on our side or the faith in ourselves that we're serious about this if we're looking for getting a reaction out of others. So there's a tendency to act in large, daring ways with this aspect, but Taurus does prefer caution, so stick to the cautiousness and the inspirational side of this rather than really emphasizing making a statement or being overly dramatic with it. So now moving on to the individual signs and how this is going to be affecting each sign in particular. This is not saying that the moon is, you know, like sending down rays that are affecting you in a certain way. This is signaling where is this showing up in your life as your sign. And I recommend doing this from the point of view of your rising sign because that determines what house, what area of life this is hitting you in. If you're an Aries rising, this will be in your second house. So there may be new seeds planted regarding money, finances, and possessions. If you are a Taurus rising, this will be in your first house. And this is exciting because this is a new beginning relating to self-identity, self-development, or your physical body. If you are a Gemini rising, this new moon is in your 12th house, meaning that seeds are being planted in regards to more spiritual, hidden, esoteric, or psychological matters. If you are a Cancer rising, this is going to be in your 11th house, meaning that a new development will be beginning regarding groups, friends, or alliances. If you are a Leo rising, this will be in your 10th house, representing a new beginning in terms of career or public image or reputation. If you are a Virgo rising, this will be in your 9th house, representing planting seeds in regards to education, higher education, travel, foreign travel, spirituality, or studies in general. If you are a Libra rising, this will be in your 8th house, representing a new beginning in terms of shared finances or shared money matters. If you are a Scorpio rising, this will be in your 7th house, representing a new beginning in terms of relationships or partnerships. If you are a Sagittarius rising, this will be in your 6th house of health, coworkers, and daily routines. If you are a Capricorn rising, this will be in your 5th house of creativity, romance, fun, and children. If you are an Aquarius rising, this will be in your 4th house of home, family, property, and homeland. If you are a Pisces rising, this will be in your 3rd house of communication, short-term travel, and siblings. So I hope overall this was helpful. I do private consultations at the link below. Like, subscribe, do all the things, and I will see you soon.